President Biden taking all kinds of heat, ladies and gentlemen, after critics accused the commander-in-chief of having been too chummy with communist China. Biden meeting virtually with Chinese President Xi Jinping to talk about a ton of topics from climate to global energy, but they were zip, zilch, nada on the origins of COVID-19 and whether it leaked from a lab. And despite the fact our president bizarrely denied his friend Xi were old pals, China's leader welcomed President Biden in a very affectionate manner.
Of course.
Good to see you, Mr. President, and your colleagues. It's the first time for us to meet virtually. Although it's not as good as a face-to-face meeting, I'm very happy to see my old friend.
So what do you make of that?
Well, I think that they know exactly what they're doing. And so he knows that the President Biden has had to answer several times that of whether Xi
From Peter
Jinping
Doocy.
is, not just him, but a couple of times. Well, maybe, I don't know, at the briefing it happened as well. And repeatedly, the White House has said, they are not old friends. And so, of course, the Chinese watch everything that happens in our media, everything that happens in the briefing room. And so he knew exactly what he was doing in trolling the president that way. I think that, something happened today that I just was thinking about. My stepson came from Scotland today for the first time in 2 years.
Wow.
And we haven't been able to see him because of COVID. And I thought, it would be nice if the president of the United States would just show a little anger on behalf of the world for what happened. And we just haven't gotten that. I understand that we have to be competitors and all the strategic stuff, but just a little bit of fire wouldn't hurt.
A little bit of fire, Katie, but listen, human rights, Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea,
well, maybe
Taiwan,
a lot of fire then.
Hong Kong, Tibet, a free and open Indo-Pacific. They can't get anything done with a virtual phone call. What are they going to get done?
Right.
I mean, Biden probably nodded out.
The virtual meeting looks weak, and you can't really have a real conversation with the president of China in a virtual meeting. But to Dana's point, I think, this is an administration that claims to care a lot about ending the pandemic, but it doesn't seem like on the surface they're doing much to prevent the next one from occurring. China is still doing gain-of-function research inside of not just one lab, but many of their labs.
So great.
And yet you have the administration not even showing much care for what happened last time. There's also this big question of what we do in the next pandemic to prepare, right? So a lot of our PPE was in China when we needed masks, gloves, all that stuff, and we weren't able to get it out in supply chains.
Right.
So what are we doing as a country to make ourselves more insulated from a global pandemic? And it just doesn't seem like it's at the top of their accountability list.
Not just insulated from the pandemic, insulated from China glomming up the whole world. They're taking over every place. They're beating us in business.
Well, I wouldn't say that,
our supply chain got interrupted because
we put the factories there. We're getting them back out of there. China's on the decline. Their demography is in a death spiral. Their economy peaked 10 years ago. Everybody hates them in their own neighborhood. They're probably going to lash out. We just have to avoid some hot war in the West Pacific.
Remember that thought.
Geraldo, to Dana's point, Biden can't get mad at China. He's mad at the Rittenhouse guy.
Right.
He's mad at the unvaxxed. He's mad at the Border Patrol agents. We're the bad guys,
the Russians
Geraldo.
in Ukraine.
We're the bad guys,
Russia,
not the guys that unleash this plague all over the place. I'm with Katie. A virtual summit is like a virtual date. You're not going to get anywhere. What, you're going to plug in an earpiece? Your people are coaching you. Like Biden's reading a statement he didn't even write.
You can't get somewhere. That's Tubin.
It is.
At least there won't be any exchange of bodily fluids. So that's an unfortunate juxtaposition.
Yes, to me.
But wait. I got a question. When I was growing up, it was all about Taiwan.
Right.
And there were two little islands that Taiwan owned, Quemoy and Matsu, right off the Chinese coast, that the Chinese could actually reach with their artillery. That's where I think World War III happens.
It could. It could. We have a problem with the hologram president. I go back to the lawyer analogy that I always use. Do you want your lawyer in an important case to be someone who laughs and gets along with the other side? Or do you want a lawyer, when he walks into the courtroom, everybody goes, oh, crap? That was Trump. Trump was America's lawyer. We were his client. That means he was disliked by people in China, or the Chinese government. He was disliked by the media. He didn't care because he was fighting for himself, but in the similar alignment, he was also fighting for you. Then you look over at this affectionate showing from China. You don't want to see that, right? Joe's the kind of lawyer who walks in, pats the opposition on the back. They talk about how that great cocktail party they were at. That was a charity for the opera. Everything was great. When China is happy to see Joe, in court, right? It means they have better, meaner lawyers, and they're going to roll right over them. And it is actually, I mean, I was going to say what Jesse said. He saves his fire for Americans. He really doesn't like us.
No.
President Biden?
Yes, doesn't like us. The hologram president.
Where do you get something like that?
Because you just watch this, what he says.
Come on, he's a patriot who's worked his whole life.
Off us. He's worked his whole life off us. And he's not done a damn thing.
Trump is a macho, and I know from macho. And that's why, anyway, that's another topic. Macho will be my next topic.